Let's switch focus now to food and beverages company Zeder Investments' first half headline earnings per share. HEPS down 33% to 5.9 cents. Now, this was largely expected as it relates to a lower earnings contribution from Pioneer Foods. Joining us on the line to discuss the results is Norman Celliers, CEO of Zeder Investments. Norman, thanks for joining us today. Let's kick off with the impact that Pioneer's weak share price has overall on Zeder, because just looking at your indirect exposure sitting at just above 13%, you've got that exposure via agri. So walk us through the impact that weakness in Pioneer has on Zeder and the outlook for the company right now.
Hi, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I think it's no secret that Pioneer represents quite a large exposure on Zeder's side. And I just must maybe share with you that the results that we report are actually lagging results. So the reason it was largely expected is because it relates primarily to the results that Pioneer did report in March. And therefore, it's not new results or indication of new performance. It is down. I think Pioneer has been under some margin pressure. I don't think it's a secret to the market. And I think many other players in the industry have experienced similar pressures. From our point of view, Zeder is a long-term investor, and we kind of think that Pioneer is well positioned to benefit from any upswing in the industry. We think the increase in demand for staple foods and foods in sub-Saharan Africa is a macro theme that we believe in. Pioneer is a leading company. So in the long run, we are very positive about Pioneer Foods. However, in the short term, I think margin pressure will remain for a little bit while the commodity prices are in a high range. And we also think input costs have risen quite sharply, and the ability to pass it on to the consumer has been limited. Yep. But in the long run, we remain positive. It's a big investment for us, and we will try and help where we can, and I think we look forward to Pioneer recovering in the medium term.
One of the big value creators during the period was the listing of Cape Verde Holdings on the JSE. You got a 20% stake there. It gives you exposure to Distel, and of course you narrowed that discount net asset value in terms of where the stock was trading. Overall, what is the plans for Cape Verde Holdings? Because some are asking whether you're actually going to delist this in the future and perhaps use that money in other areas.
Yes, I think it's important to note that our interest in Distel was not acquired by investing in a listed entity. It was interests that were built up in the unlisted space and eventually culminated in a listing. The listing of Cape Verde Holdings, we believe, is a major step forward. It's removed a nice layer of discount, and it's created a lot of value. From this point forward, we look at Distel probably in the following manner. It's a great asset. It's liquid. It's got a nice dividend yield. And from our point of view, it's a very defensible investment. And in a company like ours that are always seeking to find new opportunities and invest in new markets, having an asset like this in your portfolio is a very positive thing. So at this point, there's no clear decision either way. It's a hold, and we like it.
You have chosen to use debt financing to fund some of the purchases, acquisitions during the period. Of course, Chayton was a standout. How are you going to bring this debt down? Because is a rights issue basically an option?
I think, from our point of view, we look at it the following way. We first try and find opportunities and new investment opportunities, and if and when they arise, we fund it in the most optimal manner. You mentioned a rights issue. I know that after the AGM, there were comments made about rights issues. We continuously explore all options, whether it's rights, whether it's equity, whether it's pref shares, whether it's longer-term debt structures. We will look at it on a continuous basis. At this point in time, we've got a very nice debt facility in place. We've got options to convert into pref shares, and I think we will do this on a continuous basis and explore opportunities as and when they're needed.
Of course, it's still early days for Chayton Africa. It's got a market value of 276.9 million rand. You've got basically control of that, 93.8% stake there. What are your thoughts in terms of when you're going to start seeing a return from the investment in Chayton going forward?
I think if I can answer that question in two parts. The first is our investment to date is 276 million. But I think it's very exciting for us to share that the North Fund Group has joined us in this company and that our interest has gone down a bit. So they've bought a 20-plus share of Chayton. So we're very happy with that inclusion on the partnership. When will we see results for Chayton? Once again, it's an investment that we made that in the short term may be light on their contribution to earnings, but we believe that the growth in the long term will compensate for that. So we think maybe 12 to 18 months of not significant contributions on an earning basis, and thereafter we think it can reach the stage with the sustainable contributions.
Norman, thank you so much for joining us today. Norman Celliers, CEO of Zeder Investments.